It's cherry season, and you know what that means. Time to whip up some scrumptious cherry lemon scones. I picked up this recipe back in pastry school, and trust me, you're going to love every bite. I'm Kat, owner of Charmin Chic Baking, and welcome to my channel. The ingredients are simple, but here's what makes these scones special. I'm adding cornmeal along with all-purpose flour. This gives the scones a richer, heartier texture and a subtle crunch that you just don't get with flour alone. I'm using these gorgeous cherries that I just picked from my tree. They're perfectly ripe and bursting with flavor. As usual, start by combining all the dry ingredients in a bowl and give it a good mix to break down any lumps in the flour. If you don't have cornmeal or want to avoid it, you can replace it with equal weight of all-purpose flour. Next, you'll want to add your cold, cubed butter into the flour mixture. You can do this using your hands or a pastry blender, but remember, the colder the better your scones will turn out. Cold butter is what gives scones those amazing flaky layers we all love. And here's a little trick I learned. If you want to make things even easier, pop your butter in the freezer for about 30 minutes, then grate it with a cheese grater directly into your flour. This way, you get perfectly tiny pieces of butter that blend right in without needing to work it in too much with your hands or the pastry blender. Once your butter is in, just stir it gently into the flour mixture until everything is combined and you see those pea-sized bits of butter throughout the dough. That's exactly what will help create that light, tender, and flaky texture that will make your scones bake up beautifully. Next up, let's add our liquid ingredients, starting with the buttermilk. I actually made my own buttermilk by adding a tablespoon of vinegar to regular milk, then letting it sit at room temperature for about 10 minutes. You know it's ready when the milk looks a little curdled. That's exactly what we want because it gives scones that amazing tenderness and slight tangy flavor. Once your buttermilk is good to go, pour it into the dry ingredients, followed by the beaten egg and a splash of vanilla extract for a delicious hint of sweetness and warmth. I'm using a wooden spoon here to gently mix everything together, and it's really important to just stir until the mixture comes together into a shaggy dough. Be careful not to overmix, because overworking the dough can make your scones dense and tough, and we're really going for that light and fluffy texture. Once you see that all the dry bits are mostly combined with the wet, stop mixing and you're ready for the next step. Finally, it's time for the stars of the show, those gorgeous, juicy cherries. I like to give them a coarse chop so you'll still get nice, big pockets of fruity flavor in every bite. Once they're chopped, add them straight into your dough along with some freshly grated lemon zest. The lemon zest adds a bright, zesty kick that pairs beautifully with the sweet cherries, making every scone taste like summer. Gently fold everything together. Be careful not to overmix here. You just want to stir until the cherries and zest are evenly distributed throughout the dough. Again, overmixing can make your scones tough, and we definitely want them soft and tender. Take your time with this step and make sure the cherries don't get too smashed. They should stay in nice, juicy chunks. And that's it. Your scone dough is ready to be shaped and baked. This recipe makes either 8 large scones or 16 mini scones. For the large scones, pat your dough on a lightly floured surface into an 8-inch circle. For the minis, divide the dough in half first and then shape each piece into a 4-inch circle instead. Once your dough is shaped, wrap each circle tightly in plastic wrap. Then, place them in the fridge to chill for at least 1 hour. This chilling step is key. It firms up the butter, which helps your scones bake up with those delicious flaky layers, and it also gives the flour time to soak up the liquid, which makes the texture extra tender. While the dough is chilling in the fridge, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure you set it to static heat, so no convection or venting, because we want the scones to bake evenly from underneath and get that perfect golden base without drying out on top. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button to join me for more delicious recipes and baking tips. Once your dough has chilled and is nice and firm, it's time to cut your scones. Grab a sharp knife. This is really important because a clean cut helps the scones bake evenly and rise beautifully. Carefully slice the dough into 8 even pieces, just like cutting a pizza. Try to keep the edges as round as possible for that classic scone look. If your knife starts to stick, you can wipe it clean between cuts or even dip it in warm water and dry it off to make slicing smoother. Take your time here and be gentle so that the dough doesn't get squished or mishappen. Keeping the edges rounded not only looks great, but also helps with even baking and gives you that perfect flaky texture all around. Now it's time to get your scones ready for the oven. Take a baking tray and line it with parchment paper. This helps prevent sticking and makes cleanup a breeze. Arrange your scones evenly on the tray, leaving a little space between each one. This gives them room to rise and bake evenly without sticking together. Now it's time to get your scones ready for the oven. Take a baking tray and line it with parchment paper. This helps prevent sticking and makes cleanup a breeze. Finally, brush an egg wash made with 1 egg yolk and 1 tablespoon of milk only on the top of your scones. Avoid getting it on the sides because if the dough sticks together, it can prevent those flaky layers from forming properly. I'm sprinkling a little bit of coarse sugar on top to add a little extra sweetness and a satisfying crunch. Bake the scones for 25 minutes or until they turn a perfect golden color. These are wonderfully soft and moist with that irresistible buttery flakiness. The sweetness is just right, perfectly balanced by the tart kick from this lemon and the juicy cherries. You can also substitute the cherries to make strawberry lemon scones, blueberry lemon scones, cranberry lemon scones, and chocolate chip scones, without the lemon, of course. Thank you so much for baking with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tasty recipes, and I'll see you next time. Happy baking!